financial reporting and disclosures. Now, we will try to cover all the important topics from your examination point of view in this session. So as per Unit 1, the first topic which we'll be starting is accounting theory. So do you have any idea what is accounting theory? Anyone, if you want to answer? What is accounting theory? Okay. So अगर बहुत ही basic और simple terms में आपको समझाया जाए तो accounting theory is a set of basic concepts and assumptions and related principles that explain and guide the accountant's action in identifying, measuring, communicating economic functions. So as you can see on the screen, meaning of accounting theory, it is a body of knowledge that explains and justifies the accounting functions. We have various accounting functions, right? So accounting theory justifies why are we performing these accounting functions in this particular manner. It gives answers to why we have measured, recognized, and reported one accounting event in a particular way, and whether that adopted way is justified or not from the point of view of the objective of accounting. So यहाँ पे क्या बोला जा रहा है कि accounting theory का objective क्या है? It gives us answer that why we have measured, why we have recognized, why we have reported one particular event or one particular transaction in a particular way and not in another way, and whether that adopted way which we have adopted in recording or measuring or recognizing that event or transaction is justified or not. Is it as per the rules and practices of accounting or not? So accounting theory has two main objectives. Okay, accounting theory has two main objectives. First objective is to evaluate the old practices which the accountants has been following. And second objective is to promote the new practices. So when we evaluate the old ones, when according to for accounting theory, when the old practices are evaluated, the theory may either revise some practices which are being practiced by various accountants, or it can replace them also. And at the same time, it may add the fresh practices to the accounting also. The accounting theory attempts to build up a developed as well as a largely acceptable set of conceptual and ideological interpretations of accounting functions. ऐसा क्यों होता है? What is the aim? The aim here is that suppose a particular situation arises, suppose a particular event is there. So there should be a standard way to recognize or to measure that particular event. As different individuals, we have different practices. Accountants are also people, are also humans. So when there is no standard, what will they do? They, according to their judgment, they will record the practice, they will recognize it. So this is the basic problem, that there is no ideal or there is no formulated guidelines for accounting theory. And that is why there are differences while we record various transactions or events for different individuals or different accountants. So the aim here is accounting theory aims to develop as well as largely acceptable set of conceptual and ideological interpretations of accounting functions. कि अगर एक particular situation अगर हुई है तो उसमें ideally क्या होना चाहिए और उसी को follow किया जाए. It is not कि मेरी judgment ऐसी है तो मैं उसको इस तरह से record करूं and someone else is recording it in a different manner. No, it is according to the ideology. It was difficult earlier to convince people both inside and outside the profession merely by saying that this has been the practice. Now there are different types of organizations, different types of entities. So every entity is following different practices which they have been practicing since a long period of time. So nobody wants to change or update. Okay. So in some cases, there can be a person, suppose I am an organization and I am practicing my old practices for accounting for recording my transactions or recording my events and for other things. But now someone outsider came or some authority came and they challenge it that why have you recorded or recognized this particular event in a certain manner? So I cannot say that it is because we have been following this practice only. It should not be my answer. It is not the right judgment. It is not right. It is not right way to convince other people that we have recorded, we have done this to a particular event in a certain way because we have been practicing it since a long period of time. So now this accounting theory attempts to provide us with a solid and reasonable argument that we have recorded this or we have recognized this particular event or transaction in a certain manner because the accounting theory states that, because it has been given by the accounting theory. Okay. Now, why is accounting theory different? Why is everyone following different accounting theories? Because it is based on different approaches. It has been formulated on different approaches. And the approaches on which it is based is first is authoritarian approach, ethical approach, sociological approach, economic approach, behavioral approach. So as you can see, that as per the names of the approach, अगर हम authoritarian approach की बात करें तो it is a approach of imposing. It imposes the theory that we have followed certain practices and we'll be doing this only. Okay. Ethical approach, the focus is on the fairness. It focuses on the fairness. Sociological approach focuses on the concept of social welfare. Economic approach focuses on the concept of general economic welfare. And behavioral approach focuses or emphasizes on the relevance of decision making by the users. So every approach has a different focus. And what type of organization is following what type of approach depends on the type of the approach and the type of management. So that is why there are differences in the accounting practices. So, but this was a major drawback of accounting theory. So the Committee on Concepts and Standards formed by the American Accounting Association arrived at the following conclusion that no single governing theory of financial reporting is rich enough to encompass the the full range of user environmental specifications effectively. Okay, there is no one theory which encompasses all the aspects. And there exists in a financial accounting literature, not a theory of financial accounting, but a collection of theories. There is no one theory which can be followed by everyone. There are n number of theories, and every theory has different aspects. I hope I'm clear. I'm able to explain you better. Is my voice audible and clear to you? Okay. All right. Thank you. So now, when the organizations, the statutory body realize that there is no one theory and there are n number of theories, so they recognize the need to have a foundation of accounting theory. They decided that there should be some foundations on which the accounting theory must be based so that there is some clarification of how the theory can be framed. अब अगर उन फाउंडेशंस की बात करें जिसपे थ्योरी बेस्ड होनी चाहिए तो there are three foundations. First is the measurement aspect. Second is the information needs. And the third is the decision making aspect. So when we talk about the measurement aspect, what does it mean? Accounting is generally defined as the measurement of financial information and presentation of this information is a meaningful and understandable form. But so long the business were only the sole proprietors firms, the communication part of accounting was not as challenging as it is today. So इसमें क्या बोला गया है कि measurement of financial information and presenting that information in a meaningful and understandable form is very important. हम accounting में जो financial statements prepare कर रहे हैं, जो भी डेटा प्रिपेयर कर रहे हैं, We are using it for ourselves also, but it is for our stakeholders also, the interested parties also. Okay. So the presentation and the information presented in those statements should be in such a way that it is meaningful and understandable to all the stakeholders. Okay. Measurement is the assignment of numerical values to represent specific attributes of selected subjects or events. It is basically the assigning, it is basically a process of assigning some numerical values. Because as per the accounting, we can only record or present data which is in numerical terms or which has a financial aspect. So that is why measurement is assigning some numerical value to all the attributes, to all the subjects or to all the events. Suppose अगर हम किसी event की बात करें, हमने बोला कि गोडाउन में आग लग गई. So we cannot say that the godown has got the fire और उसको हम एक event को उसको जब तक हम numerical term नहीं देंगे, we cannot record it. अगर हम ये बोलेंगे that because of fire we had a damage of 1 lakh rupees, then only we can record it in our accounts, in our accounting. But if we don't have some numerical value, we cannot record it. हमारा मैनेजर, हमारी ऑर्गेनाइजेशन का मैनेजर कितना डेडिकेटेड है, we cannot record that information in our accounts. Why? Because it doesn't have any numerical value. लेकिन उसने कितना profit generate करा है, that we can record because it has some numerical value to it. Okay. So measurement is basically assigning some numerical value to all the subjects or the events or attributes, which means the traits or aspects of an element to be quantified or measured. Okay. Thus, the theory that deals with the measurement of attributes attempts to explain the problem of assessing and evaluating data, the significance of which can be correctly stated and accurately presented. Suppose अगर इसमें ही मैं आपको बोलूं कि अगर मुझे किसी की net worth देखनी है, so that person says कि I have 5 trucks and 2 acres of land and 2 buildings and 50 lakh cash. So how will I calculate the net worth? How will I calculate what is the financial position of that person? But because there is some no common denominator is there, I cannot total what all the assets he has. But in another way, agar wo person bolta hai that I have the land of rupees 2 crores, I have trucks of rupees 1 crore and I have 50 lakh cash, तो मैं क्या बोलूंगी? The net assets of that persons are 3 crores 50 lakh, right? Because it can be measured in one common denominator, that is monetary terms. Okay, so measurement is basically assigning the value, some monetary value to all the aspects, to all the attributes, and then measuring them. Now, जो सबसे ज्यादा important problems आती हैं measurement में, वो क्या है कि what events और objects should be measured. हमें क्या events और क्या objects को measure करना है, what scale, standard of scale should be measured, should be used, कौन सा scale use करना है. Suppose अगर foreign currency है तो हम कौन सा scale use करेंगे. Okay, so this is also a problem. And what should be the dimensions of the unit of measurement? So these are the 3 basic problems when we are using the measurement foundation. So the object selected must reflect the objectives of business decisions clearly without ambiguity. There should not be any confusion, any ambiguity when we are stating the objectives of business decisions. The ideal management measurement scale should be the one which is stable over time. तो हमें कोई ऐसा measurement scale choose करना है which is stable over the time and which is not getting changed or affected by the circumstances around. Okay, we cannot afford to change the measurement scale again and again on routine basis. And that is why the unit of measurement should encompass only those objectives that are measurable in true sense. I hope this is clear to everyone. You can just write something in text box or chat box, or is it clear till here? Okay. So moving forward, we have information needs. So the second foundation of accounting theory is information needs. What does information needs show? So the central purpose of accounting is to make possible the periodic matching of cost and revenue. This concept, that is the measurement aspect, is the nucleus of accounting theory. And no doubt, but rapidly, we have extended the boundaries of accounting and at the same time have redefined the scope of the subject. So accounting information is required by various parties who are in some way interested in our organization. So it is very important to understand the needs of those parties when we are providing the information. Along with the needs of information by different parties, a number of problems crop up as how to meet the diverse needs. Somebody is interested in the our financial position. Somebody is interested in our future aspects. Somebody is interested about our liquidity. Because every person has different aims, is interested in our organization because of different uh, aspects. So they have different needs. They want different type of information. So while we are preparing the statements for providing information to different stakeholders, it should be such that it has all the relevant information and it should fulfill the needs of all the types of stakeholders. Needs are not identical, but special purpose reporting to each group is not possible. Suppose we have uh, 50 stakeholders. So is it possible for an accountant to prepare 50 types of financial statements? No, it is not feasible also. So there should be a proper way or proper presentation of financial statements in such a manner that the needs of all the stakeholders, needs of all the 50 stakeholders or more stakeholders are met. If a number of reports are issued, the users may be confused. Suppose अगर एक person को मैंने बोला कि ये I have prepared 50 reports for my entity and now you can see what you want to check or you want to invest in my entity. You can check the data. He'll get confused what to look and what not to look. So that is why it is not possible for a person, for a party to look at 50 statements. It is important that we have one particular statement having all the information. Third aspect is decision making aspects. Users need information not for information's sake, but for taking effective decisions out of that information. हमें information क्यों चाहिए? आज मुझे किसी company में invest करना है, तो what will I do? I will check the financial statements of that particular entity or that particular organization. Then I will decide whether I should invest in this or not. Okay, so why do I need that information? Only to read? No, I need that information to take my decisions regarding investments. So decisions are always addressed to future. मुझे future में क्या करना है? As an investor, what will I do in future? वो मैं कैसे decide करूंगी? By looking at the information given by the organization. But traditional accounting that depends largely on historical cost data usually gives information relating to the past. तो पहले क्या होता था जब ट्रेडिशनल अकाउंटिंग थी तो हिस्टोरिकल डेटा पे है सारा कुछ रिकॉर्डेड तो वो हमें पास्ट की इंफॉर्मेशन दे रहा है. हिस्टोरिकल कॉस्ट इज ऑब्जेक्टिव बेसिस ऑफ अकाउंटिंग और उसी के बेसिस पे हम वाउचर्स रिसीट्स रिकॉर्ड करते हैं. बट for a long period of time, accountants are now more concerned about the reliability, whether the information provided to the stakeholders is reliable for them or not. Because users are interested in stewardship accounting, that is, knowing whether the managers are doing effectively or using their resources effectively or not. Okay, so thus users, mainly the owners, are interested in analyzing past events instead of predicting the future, and the investors and the other parties are interested in predicting the future out of the present data. So in order to take decisions accordingly. Next, we have classification of accounting theory. So this was the background of accounting theory, what all approaches were there, what all foundations were there. Now, what is the classification of accounting theory? We'll study about that. There are several ways of classifying accounting theories. Taking foundation of accounting theories as the basis, we may classify accounting theory in the line of discussion of the earlier section, that is measurement theory, information theory, and decision theory. These are the three basic foundations. Now, according to the classification, there are three types of theories. First is structural and syntactical theory. Second is interpretational or semantical theories. Third is behavioral or pragmatic theories. So we'll understand these theories one by one. First is structural or syntactical theories. This is a very important part of the syllabus, accounting theory, classifications of accounting theories. So the in structural or syntactical theories attempt to explain how accountants would react to certain situations और how they would report specific events. तो ये क्या explain करते हैं? Explain करते हैं कि accountants एक particular situation में कैसे react करेंगे और उस particular situation को वो किस तरह से report करेंगे. Okay, पहले क्या होता था? हम बोलते थे accounting is what accountants did. But now different accountants, और फिर उससे क्या होता था? हम सोचते थे जो accountant ने किया that is accounting. And different accountants react differently in different situations. So there are so many accountings. Okay. So it is important to they used to report the same event in different manner. So it is important to have a general framework for accounting so that there can be uniformity in reporting. A structural or syntactical theories have been developed to meet that uniformity problem. These theories try to evaluate the current practice of accountants. Then they codify some of the practices as generally acceptable, and simultaneously they prescribe some new procedures or principles that the accountants in general would follow while measuring or reporting any accounting event. So these are the very important lines कि ये जो theories हैं, structural and tactical theories, ये क्या करती हैं? They try to evaluate the current practices of accountants which have been followed by the accountants till now. Then they codify some of the practices as generally acceptable, और उसमें से कुछ practices जो सब common हैं, जो सारे accountants follow कर रहे हैं, they codify them as generally acceptable. And then they prescribe some new procedures or principles that should be followed while measuring or reporting some event. Structural theories are made up of both descriptive and normative theories, whereby the accountants can have a guideline as to how one journal or ledger book is to be opened, guidelines regarding journal, ledger, formatting of balance sheet or profit and loss account, historical or current cost treatment, measurement or cost, what of cost and market price should be used for valuing stocks. All this is included in structural and syntactical theories. Next, we have interpretational or semantical theories. Structural theories of accounting provide for a large number of symbols, terms, formats, or technical languages to help us systematic and scientific measurement and presentation of accounting information. But an accounting structure, although logically formulated, does not convey meaningful interpretations. How we interpret them is different. Suppose there's a symbol. So you don't know the meaning of that symbol. So you can interpret in some other way. Another student can interpret it in some other way. I will interpret it in some other way. So there can be many interpretations about the same symbol. And words representing descriptions or measurements are related empirically to real world phenomena. So it is often said that existing financial reports are documents which are prepared by accountants for accountants. It was said because it was not understood by the common person or the person who has no information or no knowledge about the accounts. So it is aimed that people outside accounting profession cannot understand. And what accountants mean to say through accounting reports, they are not able to understand, they're not able to convey that to the common people. So for common people, those accounting statements are useless. Hence, accounting writers or researchers focuses on this interpretational aspect and ultimately get a number of theories known as interpretational theories, which help the users to understand the structural theories of accounting. Also, the recent attempt also there is an accounting body, that is international accounting body, that is Financial Accounting Standard Board, tried to provide a meaningful interpretation to different terms that are used in financial statements. Okay, they have given the simple explanation of all the terms which are used in financial statements for the easy understanding of the outside parties or the people who are not of accounting background. Earlier attempts in this direction were also made, but they were not so effective. So that is why empirical studies, however, reveal that these interpretational theories are not so successful as yet, because different terms and concepts of accounting get different meanings because of different interpretations of different people. Now, third is behavioral or pragmatic theories. Behavioral theories attempt to measure and evaluate economic, psychological, and sociological effects of alternative accounting procedures and reporting media. Just give me a minute, please. Reporting media. This kind of accounting theories is still in its infancy, but there is great scope and need for development of theories that help in creating a behavioral change on the part of users. For this, attempts are needed to seek answers to some basic questions like who are the users of financial statement, what is the type of specific information wanted by them, whether the statements presented meet those needs or not, and are the financial statements useful for them for their decision making or not. So these are the three types of accounting theories. Next topic is accounting environment. So accounting is substantially a product of its own environment. हम बोलते हैं जिस environment में हम operate कर रहे हैं, हम उसी का part है. Likewise, accounting is also a product of its own environment. And we know that environment is a very dynamic in nature, is very dynamic in nature. It keeps on changing. So that is why in accounting also we need to update and keeps on changing, revising our practices in according to the environment. We have noted that environmental changes, accounting structure, system, processes also change. This is the major testimony of the fact that accounting is solely dependent on the environment in which it is operating. Socio-economic environment in particular has a great influence on accounting structures and processes. This environment is made of interrelated macro and micro activities. And since accounting covers the entire administration or management of information, it is affected by both micro and macro sectors. So what is being said here is that accounting is a part of environment, and because there is a change, there are continuous changes in the environment, it is important to keep on changing the accounting practices and rules also as per the changing needs of the environment. So there are different types of environment. First is the economic environment. With the economic development of a country, the accounting system assumes higher significance. For centuries, after the system of double entry bookkeeping appeared, accounting was devoid of methodology or any form of theory. So बहुत पहले जो हमने double entry bookkeeping का system बना दिया, उसके बाद there is no new theory or new methodology. It was only after some industrial revolution that we saw move from bookkeeping to accounting. Now we have a broader meaning of accounting. Earlier it was close to bookkeeping only. Okay, so that is how we evolved from bookkeeping to accounting. So now we have evolved from accounting to a broader aspect of accounting in terms of financial reporting. So as you can see, as a result, the need for international harmonization of accounting has got now a new impetus. Earlier, accounting was only limited to the borders of a nation. But now, as we are operating outside our country, out in different parts of the world, there is a need to realize that there has to be some accounting standards which are same or uniform worldwide, so that a company which is operating at a global level does not have to report or does not have to prepare financial statements in uh, by following different aspects of different countries, different practices of different countries. अगर suppose मेरी company है जिसमें parent company I belong to India and I'm operating in some other part of the world. So when I need to prepare accounting statements, it will be a dilemma for me whether to prepare accounting statement as per Indian accounting standards or as per the accounting standards of that particular country in which I am operating my business. So because of this, it has been focused, or it has been emphasized that there should be some accounting standards which are uniform, which are acceptable at global level. And that is what economic environment means. Next, we have social environment. Along with economic events, a number of social phenomena like poverty, social security, ecology, etc., are also a very important part of accounting, measurement, and reporting. Earlier, we have only financial accounting. Now we have social accounting. We have um, environment accounting. We have sustainable accounting. We have different branches of accounting focusing on different aspects of social environment. We have human resource accounting, we have environmental pollution accounting, we have some accounting procedures which provide contribution to consumers and societies. We are focusing on ESG parameters. These are the various broader aspects of accounting which are focusing on various sectors of social environment. Next, we have legal or statutory environment. Now, economic, social, and legal all jointly contribute to the making of the environment as a whole. But so far as the components are separately concerned, legal environments plays the superior role. Position of debtors, creditors, and legal implications dominates accounting. So there has to be some legal requirements for every organization for which they need to prepare some statement. So legal or statutory environment focuses on the contribution of accounting on legal aspects, so that there should be avoidance of fraud. There can be we can control various frauds and everything illegal activities, and everything is done lawfully uh, according to the various guidelines of the law. So that is why law is held so overriding among all environmental factors, that continuation of a market fostered by a particular social philosophy is warranted only on a continuation of a particular legal system. So there are various organizations, statutory organizations, which issues guidelines like AICPA, American Institute of Certified Public Accountants, Financial Accounting Standard Board, Securities and Exchange Commission, etc. And their major role is to provide guidelines or the mechanism for self-regulation of the entities of or the organizations. Okay, so in order so that they have a control on all types of organization. However, too much control by the government may hamper the functioning of capital market and economic development. So this is all about the environment. accounting and environment. I hope this is clear to everyone. So till now, what we have done, we have read about accounting theory, what is the meaning of accounting theory, and what are the various assumptions, approaches of accounting theory. Then we read about the foundations of accounting theory. There are three foundations: measurement aspect, information needs, decision-making aspect. Then we talked about the classification of accounting theories. There are three types of accounting theories: structural or syntactical theories, interpretational or semantical theories, behavioral or pragmatic theories. Then we talked about the environment and accounting environment. So first we talked about economic environment, then we talked about social environment, then we talked about legal or statutory environment. I hope this is all these topics are clear to everyone. In case of any doubt, you can ask. Is there any doubt, anyone? Okay.
No,
So,
ma'am, it's clear.
all right. Okay. Now let me share other video, other file. Just a minute. Yes, I can share with you. How do I share? Shall I share after the class? Any one of you can contact me and then I will share all the documents. Okay? Okay. Is the screen visible to you? Indian Accounting Standard AS1.
Yes, ma'am, it's visible.
Okay. So the next topic is Accounting Standard AS1, disclosure of accounting policies. It is very important. अब इसमें क्या है इसको डिटेल में पढ़ेंगे थोड़ा सा. So this I have taken from the Institute of Chartered Accountant of India Resources, e-resources. अगर आप उस वेबसाइट पे जाएंगे उनकी Institute of Chartered Accountant of India, उन्होंने बहुत सारे resources given है वहाँ पे. So they are very helpful and they are authenticated. तो आपको अगर कुछ notes चाहिए तो आप वहां से भी देख सकते हो. They have very good resources. Okay. तो सबसे पहले इसकी बात करें तो अकाउंटिंग स्टैंडर्ड AS1 डिस्क्लोजर ऑफ अकाउंटिंग पॉलिसी, इसका इंट्रोडक्शन क्या है? व्हाट इज द इंट्रोडक्शन? दिस स्टैंडर्ड डील्स विद द डिस्क्लोजर ऑफ significant accounting policies followed in preparing and presenting financial statements. तो क्या क्या अकाउंटिंग पॉलिसीज, सिग्निफिकेंट अकाउंटिंग पॉलिसीज क्या क्या हम फॉलो कर रहे हैं while preparing the financial statements, वो डिस्क्लोज करना, इस उसको कैसे डिस्क्लोज करना है वो हम इसमें कवर करेंगे. इस पूरा स्टैंडर्ड इज अबाउट दैट ओनली, हाउ टू डिस्क्लोज and when to disclose those accounting policies which are followed while preparing and presenting the financial statements. The view presented in the financial statement of an enterprise of its state of affairs and of the profit or loss can be significantly affected by the accounting policies followed in the preparation and presentation of financial statements. So this means कि हम जो पॉलिसीज फॉलो कर रहे हैं, अकाउंटिंग पॉलिसीज हम फॉलो कर रहे हैं अपनी फाइनेंशियल स्टेटमेंट्स को प्रिपेयर करने में, वो बहुत इम्पैक्ट करती है कि हम अपना प्रॉफिट और लॉस और अपने स्टेट ऑफ अफेयर्स को किस तरह से दिखा रहे हैं. ठीक है, वो हमारे प्रॉफिट लॉस पे बहुत बड़ा इम्पैक्ट है उनका, जो पॉलिसीज हम फॉलो कर रहे हैं while preparing. Okay. The disclosure of some of the accounting policies followed in the preparation and presentation of financial statements is required by law. तो कुछ केसेस में हम कौन सी अकाउंटिंग पॉलिसीज फॉलो कर रहे हैं अपनी फाइनेंशियल स्टेटमेंट्स प्रिपेयर करने के लिए, हमें वो मेंशन करना है बिकॉज इट इज रिक्वायर्ड बाय लॉ. सम केसेस में इट इज एन ऑब्लिगेशन बाय लॉ. ओके. Institute of Chartered Accountant of India has in standard issued by it recommended the disclosure of certain accounting policies, that is translation policies in respect of foreign currency items. तो जो ICAI है उन्होंने भी अपने स्टैंडर्ड में रिकमेंड किया है कि आप अपनी अकाउंटिंग पॉलिसीज को डिस्क्लोज करो. फॉर एग्जाम्पल, अगर आप ट्रांसलेट कर रहे हो पॉलिसीज in respect of foreign currency items, then you should always disclose it. It is better to disclose what accounting practices you are being, policies you are following. Next is, in recent years, a few enterprises in India have adopted the practice of including in their annual reports to shareholders a separate statement of accounting policies followed in preparing and presenting the financial statements. अब क्या होने लग गया है, अब इंडिया में कुछ सालों से कुछ enterprises have started preparing a separate financial separate statement जिसमें वो ये मेंशन करते हैं दैट what accounting policies they have followed while preparing the accounting statements. जब वो अपने शेयर होल्डर्स को जब अपनी रिपोर्ट्स दे रहे हैं, एनुअल रिपोर्ट्स प्रोवाइड करते हैं, शो करते हैं, तो उसके साथ साथ वो एक अलग से स्टेटमेंट बनाते हैं जिसमें वो ये मेंशन करते हैं कि वो किस तरह से कौन कौन सी उन्होंने अकाउंटिंग पॉलिसीज फॉलो करी है while preparing presenting the financial statements. Can you just give me a minute, please? Okay. Next is, in general, however, accounting policies are not at present regularly and fully disclosed in all financial statements. लेकिन जनरली क्या होता है, अकाउंटिंग पॉलिसीज डिस्क्लोज नहीं की जाती हैं रेगुलर बेसिस पे. कुछ एंटरप्राइजेस क्या करते हैं, जो फुट नोट्स होते हैं, जैसे कि कौन सा डेप्रिसिएशन मेथड उन्होंने यूज करा या कुछ भी डिस्क्रिप्शन अगर उन्होंने दिया, सपोज देयर इज अ चेंज इन द डेप्रिसिएशन मेथड यूज्ड. Earlier they were using straight line method and now they have started using diminishing balance method. So they write that information in the footnote. Okay, that we have been using this particular method and now we are using this particular method. So जो भी accounting policies होती है, जो major accounting policies है, जो उनको लगता है कि future में they can affect they can have some effects or impact, उसको disclose करना is important and it has been practiced by many organizations also. The purpose of this standard is to promote better understanding of financial statements by establishing through an accounting standard the disclosure of significant accounting policies. तो इस स्टैंडर्ड का जो मीनिंग है, जो एम है, वो ये है, पर्पस ये है कि अगर डिस्क्लोज होंगी अकाउंटिंग पॉलिसीज तो उससे बेटर अंडरस्टैंडिंग होगी ऑफ अकाउंटिंग स्टेटमेंट्स. अगर हम ये बताएं कि हमने ऐसा जो अपने फाइनेंशियल स्टेटमेंट में, अकाउंटिंग स्टेटमेंट में अगर हमने ऐसा किया है, ऐसा शो किया है, तो वो किस रीजन से किया है, अगर वो एक्सप्लेनेशन साथ में होगी, सो इट वुड लीड टू बेटर अंडरस्टैंडिंग ऑफ द फाइनेंशियल स्टेटमेंट्स. नाउ एक्सप्लेनेशन देखेंगे अब हम. फंडामेंटल अकाउंटिंग assumptions. Certain fundamental accounting assumptions underlie the preparation and presentation of financial statements. ये आप एमकॉम के स्टूडेंट्स हैं, आप सबने ये पढ़ा होगा कि देयर आर 3 बेसिक फंडामेंटल अकाउंटिंग assumptions जिसके बेसिस पे हम अपनी सारी फाइनेंशियल स्टेटमेंट्स बनाते हैं. वो क्या है? दैट फर्स्ट इज गोइंग कंसर्न, सेकंड इज कंसिस्टेंसी, थर्ड इज एक्रूअल. गोइंग कंसर्न का क्या मतलब होता है? गोइंग कंसर्न मीन्स दैट जो एंटरप्राइज है और जो ओनर है वो अलग अलग हैं और ये अज्यूम किया जाता है दैट जो एंटरप्राइज है, वो जो हम स्टार्ट कर रहे हैं, ये जो एंटरप्राइज बिजनेस कर रही है या जो भी फंक्शनिंग कर रही है, इट इज नॉट फॉर अ शॉर्ट पीरियड ऑफ टाइम. हम ये अज्यूम करते हैं दैट इट विल ऑपरेट, इट विल कंटिन्यू टू ऑपरेट for a foreseeable future, for a long period of time. It is assumed that the enterprise has neither the intention and nor the necessity of liquidation or of curtailing materially the scale of the operations. मतलब अगर कोई problem नहीं आती तो it will keep on operating for a very long period of time. Second is consistency. It is assumed that accounting policies which are followed for one particular accounting period will be followed for other accounting for the future accounting periods also. Because if we keep on changing the accounting policies year after year, it will lead to confusion and there will be no possibility of comparison. Suppose मुझे इस साल का डेटा लास्ट ईयर की डेटा से या फिर और 2-3 साल पीछे के डेटा से मुझे कंपेयर करना है. So if there are uniform accounting policies followed, then I'll be able to compare the data. But अगर हर साल में different accounting policies use करूंगी, तो I will not be able to compare that data. Third assumption is accrual, which means revenues and costs are accrued, that is recognized as they are earned. हमें ये नहीं देखना है कि कब हमारे पास मनी आई या हमने कब मनी पे करी, इससे हमारा कोई मतलब नहीं है. हमें ये देखना है कब वो एक्रू हो गया, कब वो रिकॉग्नाइज हो गया. अकॉर्डिंग टू दैट वी नीड टू रिकॉर्ड आवर रेवेन्यूज एंड कॉस्ट and record and we should record our revenues and cost in the financial statements on the basis of the period on which they relate. Suppose अगर एक मैनेजर ने सेल्स पे कमीशन अर्न किया है, उसने सेल्स करी दिसंबर में और उस पे उसने कमीशन अर्न करा जैन में, तो मुझे मैं जो उसका कमीशन दिखाऊंगी वो मैं उसको दिसंबर में ही इंक्लूड करूंगी. आई विल नॉट इंक्लूड इट इन द जैन. ही इज getting the commission in January, but he has earned it in December only. Okay, so the point here is when he has earned, when it is accrued, that is what is recorded. Okay, so the consideration affecting the process of matching costs with revenues under the accrual assumptions are not dealt with in this standard. Now, nature of accounting policies. The accounting policies refer to the specific accounting principles and methods of applying those principles adopted by the enterprise in a preparation and presentation of financial statements. So accounting policies क्या होती हैं कि किस तरह से specific accounting principles और methods apply किए गए हैं while preparing and presenting the financial statements. There is no single list of accounting policies which are applicable to all the circumstances. हमारे पास कोई भी एक ऐसी single list नहीं है accounting policies की जिसके basis पे हम बोल सकते हैं that this list is applicable to all the circumstances. Different circumstances has different operation, different circumstances have different can be should be deal in a different manner. And every organization, every enterprise operate in a situation of diverse and complex economic activity. We should apply methods of various principles which are accepted. Choice of appropriate accounting principles and methods of applying those principles in a specific circumstance calls for considerable judgment of management. Why we have used this particular principle in this particular situation will depend on the type of management the organization has. It is not according, we don't have any particular list of situations that in this situation you have to use this accounting policy, in B situation you have to use B accounting policy. So they have given us only few accounting policies, and we need to realize as our judgment, on the basis of our judgment, that when should we use this particular accounting policy in this particular situation or not. Next is the various standards of ICAI combined with the efforts of government and other regulatory agencies and progressive managements have reduced in recent years the number of acceptable alternatives, particularly in the case of corporate enterprises. So, बहुत efforts के बाद थोड़ा सा regulation आया है और जो alternative types of acceptable practices हैं उनको restrict कर दिया गया है. While continuing efforts in this regard in future are likely to reduce the number still further, The availability of alternative accounting principles and methods of applying those principles is not likely to be eliminated altogether. So हम जो अकाउंटिंग बॉडीज हैं वो ट्राई कर रहे हैं कि डिफरेंट सिचुएशंस में ये जो डिस्क्रिपेंसीज आ रही हैं अपनी जजमेंट के बेसिस पे जो सब डिफरेंट डिफरेंट अकाउंटिंग पॉलिसीज यूज कर लेते हैं वो थोड़ा कम हो ये डिस्क्रिपेंसीज एंड देयर शुड बी सम फॉर्मुलेटेड बोर्ड of some documented guidelines which can regulate the functioning or the acceptance of accounting policies. Now, next is areas in which differing accounting policies are encountered. अब कुछ स्पेसिफिक एरियाज हैं जहां पे बहुत ज्यादा हमें देखा जाता है कि डिफरेंट अकाउंटिंग पॉलिसीज आर अडॉप्टेड बाय डिफरेंट एंटरप्राइजेस. दोज एरियाज आर मेथड्स ऑफ डेप्रिसिएशन, डिप्लीशन एंड amortization. डेप्रिसिएशन का मेथड कौन सा यूज करना है, डिप्लीशन amortization कैसे दिखाना है, इट डिपेंड्स ऑन the type of organization and the type of management. Okay. Next we have treatment of expenditure during construction. उसको जो expenditure construction के वक्त हो रहा है उसको किस तरह से treat करना है, that is also dependent that is also depend on the decision of the management. Conversion or translation of foreign currency items, valuation of inventories, inventory की valuation में कौन सा method use करना है, treatment of goodwill, valuation of investments, treatment of retirement benefits, recognition of profit on long-term contracts, valuation of fixed assets, contingent liabilities treatment. तो ये कुछ ऐसी circumstances हैं जिसमें मेजरली आपको डिफरेंस दिखेगा अकाउंटिंग पॉलिसीज में. हर ऑर्गेनाइजेशन अपनी तरह से इसको डील कर रही है. देयर इज नो यूनिफॉर्मिटी अमंग द ऑर्गेनाइजेशंस और अमंग द एंटरप्राइजेस. ओके. नाउ नेक्स्ट इज considerations in the selection of accounting policies. अब when we are selecting accounting policy, तो हमें क्या किन factors को consider करना चाहिए? Okay. The primary consideration in the selection of accounting policies by an enterprise is that the financial statements prepared and presented on the basis of such accounting policies should represent a true and fair view of the state of affairs of the enterprise. तो जब हम डिसाइड कर रहे हैं कि हमें कौन सा अकाउंटिंग पॉलिसी यूज करना है while preparing our financial statements, so we should consider this that the major point of focus here is that कि जो हम financial statements prepare कर रहे हैं वो they should represent a true and fair view of our state of affairs of our enterprise. Okay. For this purpose, the major considerations governing the selection and application of policies are, so there are three major considerations. First is the prudence. आप सबने prudence के बारे में पढ़ा होगा, right? What is prudence? Can you answer? Anyone? Okay. So prudence is basically when we are anticipating all our losses, but we are not anticipating our profits. We are taking care of our losses, anticipated losses in advance. That is prudence. So in view of uncertainty attached to future events, profits are not anticipated but recognized only when realized. तो profits तो हमें पता है कि जब जब वो profit हमें हो गया है तब हम उसको realize कर रहे हैं. बट जो एंटिसिपेटेड लॉस है फ्यूचर में उसके लिए वी ट्राई टू मेक अ प्रोविजन because we don't want any unrealistic situation or any loss later on. So that is why we are anticipating our losses and providing some amount for those anticipated losses. We are making a provision for those anticipated losses or liabilities. Provision is made for all known liabilities and losses even though the amount cannot be determined. Up suppose हमें पता है we have sold some goods to Mr. X. So Mr. X has to pay some amount to us. But we can anticipate that this amount can be doubtful. It can become bad debts in future. So what will we do? We'll create a provision for bad debts. We don't know the exact amount, but still we have created a provision, and uh, uh, we are giving some funds to that provision also. We are entering some funds to that provision. So just in case the emergency arises, that can be used to uh, get right the situation. Okay. Next, we have substance over form. So it is an accounting principle, which is accounting treatment and presentation in financial statements of transactions and events should be governed by their substance and not by their legal form. It is a phrase which is basically used to describe the uh, true nature of business, and also it means that the state everything which is recorded in financial statements should be governed by their substance and not basic by the uh, uh, legal compliances. Next, we have materiality. So the financial statements should always disclose all the material items, that is, the items the knowledge of which might influence the decision of the user of the financial statement. Suppose we should, when we are while preparing the financial statement, we should not omit, or be we should not hide some important information. When we say important material information or important information, it is that type of information, the knowledge of which might influence my decision, might change my decision as an investor or as a user of the financial statement. Okay. Now, next is disclosure of accounting policies. To ensure proper understanding of financial statements, it is necessary that all significant accounting policies adopted in the preparation and presentation of financial statements should be disclosed. Such disclosure should form part of the financial statement. So, for better understanding, we need to disclose the accounting policies followed while preparing the financial statements, and that disclosure should also a part of the financial statement. It has been made a part of financial statements. Also, it would be helpful to the reader of financial statements if they are all disclosed as such in one place instead of being scattered. अब ऐसा क्यों बोला उन्होंने कि उसी जगह पे जहां पे आप फाइनेंशियल स्टेटमेंट बना रहे हो वहीं पे आप डिस्क्लोज करिए कि व्हाट पॉलिसीज यू हैव अडॉप्टेड while preparing financial statements, because अगर सेम प्लेस पे आपको सारा डेटा मिलेगा, so the user will be able to comprehend it better. He will be able to understand it better. Okay. Examples of matters in respect of which disclosure of accounting policies adopted will be required are contained in paragraph 14. The list of example is not, however, intended to be exhaustive. Next, we have any change in accounting policy which has material effect should be disclosed. As I have told you earlier, suppose हमने depreciation method choose करा या हमने inventory valuation method choose करा, so we need to disclose it. Any accounting policy, any change in accounting policy which can have a material effect in future needs to be disclosed. The amount by which any item in the financial statements is affected by such change should also be disclosed to the extent ascertainable. तो हमें ये भी मेंशन करना है कि हमने क्या अकाउंटिंग पॉलिसी में चेंजेस किया है, प्लस कितने अमाउंट से उसमें चेंज हुआ है, that is also be mentioned. If a change is made in accounting policies which has no material effect on the financial statement for the current period, but which is reasonably expected to have a material effect in later periods, we need to disclose that also. Suppose हमने एक depreciation method change करा अपना accounting में, and उससे कोई major impact नहीं आया अभी current financial year में. So बट अगर इस फाइनेंशियल ईयर में कोई मेजर इंपैक्ट नहीं है तो इट डजंट मीन दैट इट कैन नॉट हैव एनी इम्पैक्ट इन फ्यूचर. अगर हमें लगता है कि उसका इम्पैक्ट कुछ फ्यूचर में आ सकता है, वी नीड टू डिस्क्लोज दैट चेंज टू द यूजर्स. हमें अपने फाइनेंशियल स्टेटमेंट्स में उस चेंज को मेंशन करना है, डिस्क्लोज करना है. ओके. Next is disclosure of accounting policies or of changes therein cannot remedy a wrong or inappropriate treatment of the item in the accounts. Suppose accounts में we have done some mistake और हम उसमें disclose कर रहे हैं कि हमने ऐसा कर दिया. It is not right. It cannot be said कि अगर हमने disclose कर दिया कि हमने क्या policy use करी और we have done something wrong there. So it cannot be said कि due to disclosure it is right now. No, it is not right. If you have done something wrong, it is wrong even if you have disclosed it in the financial statement. Now, next is the main principles, which says all significant accounting policies adopted in the preparation and presentation of financial statements should be disclosed. तो यहाँ पे वो क्या बोल रहे हैं, जो भी significant accounting policies हमने यूज करी हैं while preparing and presenting financial statement, they have to be disclosed. The disclosure of significant accounting policies as such should form part of the financial statements, and the significant accounting policy should normally be disclosed in one place. तो जो disclosure करना है हमें अपनी accounting policies का, वो फाइनेंशियल स्टेटमेंट्स का एक पार्ट होगा अब, और जो पॉलिसीज हमें डिस्क्लोज करनी है वो एक ही जगह पे हम सारी पॉलिसीज डिस्क्लोज करेंगे. इट इज नॉट लाइक कि हम डिफरेंट डिफरेंट प्लेसेस पे डिस्क्लोज कर रहे हैं. टू दिस कैन क्रिएट कंफ्यूजन. फॉर बेटर अंडरस्टैंडिंग we need to disclose them at only one place. Any change in the accounting policy which has a material effect in the current period or which is reasonably expected to have a material effect in later periods should be disclosed. So कोई भी accounting policy, कोई भी change अगर accounting policy में है which can have a material effect in current period or expected to have a material effect in future periods, it should be disclosed. And in the case of a change in accounting policy, which has a material effect in the current period, the amount by which any item in the financial statement is affected by such change should also be disclosed. तो अगर हमें लग रहा है कि एक material effect इस current period में है, उस amount को आपको financial statement में disclose करना है. Where such amount is not ascertainable, the fact should be indicated. और अगर वो amount ऐसा है कि it cannot be ascertained, then also you need to indicate the fact. You need to disclose it. Next is if the fundamental accounting assumption, that is the going concern, consistency, and accrual are followed in financial statements, specific disclosure is not required. So they are saying कि अगर आपने fundamental accounting assumptions use करी हैं, follow करी हैं while preparing the financial statements, जो हमारी तीन financial fundamental accounting assumptions, that is going concern, consistency, and accrual, then you are not required to disclose any other thing. If a उसमें फिर आपको specific disclosure नहीं करना है. If a fundamental accounting assumption is not followed, the fact should be disclosed. और अगर आपने वो follow नहीं करी है तो भी आपको उसको तब आपको facts disclose करने हैं. I hope this is clear. This is all about AS1, disclosure of accounting policies. Is that clear to everyone? Okay. Just give me a minute.